Hello and welcome to SpyHards Podcast. I'm Agent Scott.
And I'm Ken the Provocateur, trying to eat with my nose.
Oh, get it in there, Cam.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
Yay. Is your nose and head inside of a pumpkin right now?
Yes, it is actually. I'm digging for
Ah.
seeds right now.
Yeah, you're lost in there. You're wearing that pumpkin, Cam.
I am. I look like those kids in Halloween 3,
You've never looked better.
right? Silver Shamrock.
You should slather some cold cream on top of that pumpkin.
I should put on some spectacles, perhaps.
Mm.
Some snazzy spectacles.
Cam, what is cold cream?
I feel like I used to know what that was. Is it just like moisturizer?
I don't. Moisturizer absorbs into the skin. The way that this film that we're about to talk about says cold cream is like paste that just stays on top.
Well, okay. Do you put cold cream on your face overnight while you sleep? Is that perhaps its usage? I think cold cream can also be used to remove makeup.
You put more cream on top of the makeup?
Well, I think that peels off makeup.
So that's what I've been doing wrong all these years.
I honestly don't know. I'm having a vague memory of one year doing very elaborate Halloween makeup, and it was like oil-based makeup, the kind of stuff that does not come off easy, right?
Sure.
It's not the water-based stuff. And to the best of my memory, the way to get it off was with cold cream.
So really, the mystery this week isn't the film, isn't Halloween. It's what is cold cream?
That is an excellent question, and I don't know. There's no one I can ask at the moment.
I don't know. I mean, we've got a new mailbox. Write to us, folks. mail@spyhards.com. What is cold cream?
Why is cold cream?
What? Who is cold cream?
How is cold cream?
When is cold cream? We've run out.
We've run out. Yeah, that's it.
Of cold cream and W's.
Really kicking off Halloween in style here.
Well, it wouldn't be SpyHards Podcast at any momentous occasion if we weren't talking about some forgotten 1940s spy movie featuring Nazis and just diving head first into the realms of irrelevance.
That is true. That is highly accurate.
The true invisible agents are us when it comes to being found on podcast platforms.
Well, it felt like after last year, we did Possession, of course, last Halloween. That was a really fun episode to do in tackling a, kind of cult body horror film. But when it comes to Halloween-based spy films, it's not like you have your kind of obvious James Bond films. I suppose we could have done Live and Let Die if we'd held on to that one on a Halloween. But outside of that, there's not a lot in terms of mainstream spy movies that really fit the bill. We do have a list of films that do apply that we will look at in, obviously the episode you're listening to right now, as well as the future, but they aren't exactly the obvious kind of ones where everyone goes, oh, of course, that Jack Ryan film.
Yeah, I mean, there's not this. No one's written the book on Halloween spy movies. There isn't a litany of things to choose from. I think there's probably about 10.
Yeah, and some of them are really obscure. Really obscure.
And then some of them are really obvious, like Live and Let Die.
Yeah.
This one we're talking about this time isn't actually an unknown. There's ones that are far more unknown that we haven't got to yet. This actually has some pedigree to it.
It does. I mean, pedigree? Well, it comes from a popular series / franchise, yes.
Well, I assumed that the filmmakers were the same as the people who did the originals. That was my assumption.
And you would be dead wrong.
Okay.
dead wrong.
I often, and dead is correct being Halloween, but I often am.
Cemetery, dead wrong.
6 feet under, baby.
That's right, yeah.
Well, let's get to it, Cam. What are we talking about?
We are tackling 1942's Invisible Agent, a installment in the very popular and iconic Universal Horror / Universal Monsters series.
See, I was thinking about this because at the beginning of this film, they mentioned the connective tissue to the previous Invisible films.
Yeah.
And I didn't actually know that any of these films were connected. I thought films in these decades or this time period didn't go anywhere near connective tissue. So I was surprised.
No, like in several of the Universal horrors, Lon Chaney Jr. pops up playing the Wolfman, and he shows up in some Frankenstein movies. He shows up in a Dracula film, shows up in an Abbott and Costello film, and so there is kind of something tying a lot of these movies together. The Invisible Man franchise is a little different though, in that you have the original with Claude Rains, which is one of my all-time favorite Universal horror films. Uh, but then it was like they kind of didn't know what to do for sequels, so they get kind of weird. There's one called The Invisible Woman,
Mm-hmm.
which is more of a wacky comedy where I believe alcohol induces invisibility.
Oh.
So that was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's Invisible Agent, which is more of a pulpy, propaganda film during the war. And then they did ones like Invisible Man's Revenge and whatever that go a little bit back to what the original model was. But because they killed the main character in the first film, they kind of find ways of just introducing new Invisible Men.
Well, a lot of things sprung to my mind whilst you were talking, and I will give them to you
Sure.
in the order in which they appeared in my mind, if I can remember them by the time I finish the sentence. The first thing is I knew Claude Rains was in the original
Yeah.
because it's in the lyrics to science fiction double feature. The first song on the Rocky Horror soundtrack
Okay. Yeah.
mentions that Claude Rains is the Invisible Man.
Oh, I think I remember mentioning that, or one of us mentioned that when we reviewed that on the Patreon.
Yeah, and that's just inconsequentially just gone 50 years old, same as Jaws this year. I mean, one perhaps more iconic than the other.
Yeah, it looks like they're doing a whole run of midnight Rocky Horror celebrations in Vancouver the week of Halloween.
Yeah. Oh well, I'm over there for Halloween, which is this week actually. So maybe I should bring over my Dr. Frankenfurter outfit, and we can. Which? I mean, do you remember the characters at all? Do you remember which one you'd go for?
I don't. Oh boy, I don't remember the names.
I can do the names.
I would not be dressing up. I'd be going as a tourist.
Okay. Well, you could go as Brad,
Sure.
just the bland North American.
Sure, I'll typecasting right there.
Well, if it fits, it fits. So I obviously noted that there was some connective tissue.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, Cinematic Universe is MCU. What would you call this one? It would be the ICU.
Oof.
I see you. He's
Oof,
invisible.
oof, oof, oof. I mean, I guess it's better than Dark Universe.
Well, was the Dark Universe supposed to be this brought back?
Yeah, yeah. It was kind of a new take on the Universal horror. And so they only did one film, which was, of course, The Mummy with Tom Cruise.
Mm.
But that was being set up for him to cross over with the other characters. And so I believe it was actually going to be Johnny Depp playing the Invisible Man.
I mean, that could have been fun. I know people take the piss out of it, but that could have been fun.
Well, The Mummy was such unmitigated trash that
Mm.
I would say no, it wouldn't have been fun if they were like that.
What got in the way of The Mummy? Tom Cruise or Alex Kurtzman?
It, I think, was studio noted to absolute death. It feels like a
Right.
movie that's just a death of a thousand cuts of like, how do we create a Marvel Cinematic Universe of our own? And
Right, they're hyper vigilant and engineering it to death, basically, to try and make it a success.
everyone's nephew has an opinion on how to make this movie, and
Mhm.
it just has zero personality. I think it is actually, I don't even know if there's an argument it's the worst Tom Cruise movie. I just don't know what else I'd even put up against it.
People often throw around Cocktail.
I mean, Cocktail's not good, but I would say it's better than The Mummy. I just don't think there's anything that's made on the level. Like, Tom Cruise has made a couple bad movies in his career, but he doesn't make disasters. And I would say The Mummy is a full-on disaster.
Well, I'm glad I've never besmirched my memory of Tom Cruise, although he's still alive, by watching it.
Yeah, who knows if we ever do that one on the Patreon.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Well, you'll all really have to join for that to happen.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, I couldn't remember the third thing, so I'll continue. If you haven't ever been touched by the invisible agent,
Jesus.
what do you mean? He's touching someone in the picture I'm looking at right now.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, so all right, okay. It's actually a really cool, like, weird translucent effect they've done with him here, but they don't even do that in the film.
Oh,
It's actually a pretty cool picture. I'll send it to you.
okay.
But
It's better than the movie poster, I suppose, where it looks like a guy who's like King Kong swatting down planes.
Oh, I love that. I could love if that was actually the case in this film. Like something went wrong with the cocktail and he grew to like 50 foot tall.
It's a bizarre poster because it really does not
Yeah.
sell Invisible Man.
No, I mean, there's a lot of things about this film that like they had a good idea and did not know how to execute it.
Sure.
But here it is anyway. Invisible Agent, today's most amazing sensation.
What?
Because it was only good for that day. Afterwards, it gone stale.
Sure.
The Invisible Man's grandson uses his secret formula to spy on Nazi Germany in this comedic thriller.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is one that you can sum up in a sentence and you are not giving it the short shrift. That's accurate.
No, it's that's your setup, and then hijinks ensue.
Lots of hijinks.
Oh, sorry, spy jinx. Spy jinx ensue.
Mostly spy jinx, yeah.
Yeah. We'll get into it. I mean, I don't have any connections to this universe, dark or otherwise. I don't think I've ever seen any of the original. I think I've seen the original Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
I've certainly read the book, but
Oh, well, look at you. I may not have seen the films, but I've read the literature.
was it H.G. Wells?
Nope.
What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of Time Machine and something else he did.
H.G. Wells wrote The Invisible Man.
Oh, then maybe I have read that.
I somehow doubt it, but okay.
I'm not entirely convinced I have, but yeah, well,
I'm going to call the Frankenstein one into question now at this point, too.
I went for a spell of reading like classic science fiction literature, and I read quite a few books, so I feel like I might have cracked one of these. But anyway, don't come at me, Cam. You still haven't read Little Drummer Girl, so like you've got no leg to stand on, invisible or otherwise.
But I know who wrote it.
People, it's always funny. People talk to us a lot and say like, "Oh, you should get like authors on the show." It would be the worst thing.
It would.
We don't read.
Yeah. I don't have time. I don't have time to read these books.
He grumbles when a film goes longer than 2 hours.
Well, I don't. That's
Oh,
not
wait,
accurate
that's
at
me.
all. Yeah, I was going to say, that's you, not me.
Well, we do like to try and keep it short if we can.
Sure. I mean, there's the weeks
Yeah.
where we're just busier, but in general, I don't mind if a movie's long.
I mean, this week we're too busy going door to door trying to get candy from people.
Exactly, yes. We shouldn't have dressed like invisible men, though, because no one can see us, so they just keep throwing candy in the air.
But we could steal it then.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, that's actually a pretty good thing.
I'm sure 2 guys running around naked on people's porches, that's probably not going to go great.
That's like one of the first notes I wrote. Like, this guy's naked the entire film, right?
Yes.
Like, you've just got to picture him in these really important scenes with like Nazis talking about like bombing the United States, and he's just hanging dong,
ripping clothes off as he's parachuting.
I just every time I see him, I just picture him like just his little trooper, his little invisible man's just flailing in the wind. It really takes some of the tension out of the film.
Yeah, I believe they actually. Did you ever see Hollow Man?
No, I'm aware of it.
The
No.
Verhoeven film. Yeah, because they actually acknowledged that he was naked, and it like they actually visibly showed that he was. I think because it was.
Did they hang a hat on it?
Well, no, I think what they did was it was a scene where it was like infrared, and so it wasn't actually Kevin Bacon. He showed it in another film, but not in that movie. But it was like just shown as like a ultra like kind of like the reddish kind of predator vision kind of look.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they do kind of reference the fact that he gets cold in this.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
So there is they understand that that's a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and actually in the original, he gets like really whiny a lot, and he's like, "Give me a blanket, I'm cold." At one point.
I mean, I would be too if I was hanging dong, walking around all day.
Yeah.
Poor guy. I mean, yeah, not a good thing to be doing. I mean, although there's also like, if we're going to bring science into this, it's not going to stand up for very long because the guy doesn't have any breath, apparently.
That's also true. Yes.
Suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so I don't have any backstory with this, Universal Monster Universe.
Other than reading all the books, allegedly.
Allegedly. You've got no proof I didn't.
Well.
Wow. Cam is trying to get under my skin today. All right, we'll play it this way.
Holes are forming in that story.
I might spike one of these candies, but who knows? But Cam, what about you? I'm sure you've seen all of the films.
That's true. I have watched all of the Universal horror films. This was one, though, that's not top of mind. Like, usually when you're going to watch those movies, you're going to watch the obvious: Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Dracula, Invisible Man, etc. I believe, yeah, so I ended up going out and buying these collector's sets of each of the monsters.
Sure.
And so these really nice book-style DVDs that came with the original and plus all of the sequels. Now, in the years since I got rid of those and bought the big Blu-ray box set. But that was how I watched it. Was just going through kind of each of these monsters and watching all of their films. And so, yes, I watched all of the Invisible Man series. The best series is the Frankenstein ones, honestly.
Which I'm very familiar with.
Clearly. And some of them aren't as strong. I would say, like, the Invisible Man series is pretty fun. But as a, like, franchise, it's very shaggy.
I remember what the third thing was.
Okay, what was it?
I'm going to pitch a sequel to you.
Okay.
The Invisible Man's best friend. It's about an invisible dog.
Oh, okay. That would be actually pretty funny.
Yeah, I think that would work. Because you could say the Invisible Man's best friend. And then you don't actually have a dog either. Because they're notoriously terrible to work with as actors. So
you wouldn't just call it the Invisible Dog?
No, the Invisible Man's best friend. Okay. That's actually funnier.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I'm sticking to my guns here, folks. Make it happen.
Okay.
We'll shoot it and we'll put it on like Tubi.
Sure. Yeah. And so, like, when I watched Invisible Agent,
Cam does not like being derailed. He's putting us right back on track.
To the best of my memory, I think I watched this movie on my laptop at my university cafeteria. I just have a memory of that.
You did that a lot.
I did.
I remember you doing that with, like, you watched a lot of Star Trek that way and stuff.
Yes. Watched a lot of Star Trek, watched a lot of Marx Brothers, lesser films. And then, I would watch these Universal ones because they were short. They'd be like 80 minutes kind of max. And so I would go and watch them during breaks in my classes. And I'm pretty sure that's where I watched Invisible Agent. And when we were putting together the list of movies to tackle on this show several years ago now, I had Invisible Agent on the list, and I was really excited to do it, but it was not available really anywhere for a long time other than if you bought the Blu-ray set or the DVD set. Like, it wasn't streaming, whereas now you can actually rent it.
Yeah, I mean, it's also available on the Internet Archive, which is where I watched it.
Right, yeah.
You can't rent it here in the UK as far as I can see.
Oh, okay. Well, for a long time, it was just literally only on Blu-rays and DVDs.
Okay. It's there's that meme of that guy at a party and there's a bunch of couples dancing and then there's that one guy in the corner and they're like, they don't know about insert joke here. And so I'm just picturing you in university of like everyone having fun around you doing shots and keg stands and you're in the corner like, they don't know I'm on Letterboxd writing reviews for the Universal monster films.
They don't know that I'm having more fun than any of them.
Oh, it sucks to be them.
Tomorrow night, House of Dracula. Party down.
I hear Scott loves that one too.
He read the book. Or the pamphlet.
It's about what I can manage these days. My attention span is not what it used to be. What film are we talking about again? I joke. Well, then let's get into it, because obviously this is the third Invisible film.
Oh my god. No, it's the fourth.
Okay, so what is the timeline of these monster films, and where is this Invisible Agent sitting?
Okay, so bit of a breakdown on the Universal Horror / Universal Monsters franchise. It sort of started without the intentions of becoming what it was silent films, actually. You had
Oh.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in 1913. You had the Lon Chaney classics, Hunchback of Notre Dame in 1923, and Phantom of the Opera in 1925.
Seen it, obviously.
We're going to be seeing Phantom of the Opera when you're in Vancouver for Halloween, so I guess at this very moment you've probably seen Phantom of the Opera on the big screen.
Oh, is that the silent movie we're going to?
That's right, yeah, with a orchestra and choir doing the music, so that'd be cool.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so those early horror movies were very popular, but it was really the advent of sound where you get the franchise kicking off.
Sure.
And so in 1931, Dracula comes out and is very popular. Bela Lugosi, iconic performance, and it's followed by Frankenstein, The Mummy, The Invisible Man in 1933, and then Bride of Frankenstein, and then some real classics as well, like The Wolfman and Creature from the Black Lagoon, which arrive a little bit later in the timeline, as far down into like the 40s and 50s. And overall, there was 35 films in this franchise, and that includes the Abbott and Costello films, which arrived at the tail end of the run for these films, where they were like, okay, people aren't as interested in seeing Creature from the Black Lagoon Part 2 and 3. What do? Why don't we bring in Abbott and Costello? They're very popular. Give them the run of the lot. Let them do whatever they want with these creatures. And so you get like Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, which is a classic, and then some lesser ones that are still pretty fun. But that kind of marks the ending of that series.
It sort of also becomes a little bit of a spoof of itself, I guess, by that point.
Yeah, although I would say like Meet Frankenstein still treats the monsters pretty seriously. It's like it doesn't like diminish them as a threat. Like it acknowledges they are dangerous.
Sure.
But it also, like, the thing about a lot of these Universal horror films is that like they typically center on a tragic monster, where a part of it is like your sympathy is supposed to be with the monster, especially Frankenstein and Creature from the Black Lagoon. Like there's a chord as to who they are. They're reaching out. They want to like connect with people and aren't able to because of their forms. But there's also the sense that like a lot of these movies are also kind of chamber room mysteries, with a lot of characters just standing in rooms talking in accents, like British accents, about what's going on.
Sold. Sounds great.
It makes them actually really fun. Every Halloween I usually watch one with my sister, and they have like a certain really fun stuffiness to them. The movies are usually about an hour, and in the best cases they're just a riot. I find the original Dracula a bit of a tough sit. That one's, I think, 70 minutes, but feels like it's like 2.5 hours. I ended up taking two friends, actually, to see. They did a back-to-back feature at one of our theaters here in Vancouver, where it was Dracula followed by Frankenstein. And both of them fell asleep watching Dracula.
Well, I hope you're not taking me to that on Halloween.
No. They both liked Frankenstein a lot, but Dracula did not work for them, and I understand. Yeah, so... as for the Invisible Man series, as I said, 1933 is the original, and it's followed by The Invisible Man Returns, Invisible Woman, Invisible Agent, and Invisible Man's Revenge. And then, of course, you get Abbott and Costello Meet the Invisible Man, falling right at the end of that run.
So that was the one that killed it.
Yeah, just like public interest in horror was changing, and so characters like this, these kind of gothic Universal monster characters, just fell out of favor, and that's when sci-fi takes off, when you get the whole atomic panic.
My favorite time.
Yeah, so suddenly it's aliens and invaders from beyond that are what kind of get people's dander up, versus the
Day of the Triffids, Forbidden Planet, all this sort of stuff's coming out.
Yeah, not so much these kind of gloomy gothic monsters. Yeah,
although I think we've kind of gone back to that now.
I think there's always going to be room for the Universal monsters. There's a new
Frankenstein.
Yeah. Guillermo del Toro's doing his take on the novel.
And Dracula came out earlier this year, I think.
No, there was no Dracula. There was Nosferatu.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, the knockoff version.
There was that last year. But there's, I think, there is Maggie Gyllenhaal is directing a Bride of Frankenstein remake. Very stylish looking movie, actually. So there's always interest in reviving these. They've just never quite done it in the way that, like, originally you had like 25 years of these movies coming out and interconnecting and being a popular force in the marketplace versus now it's very hard to keep anything going for a prolonged period, much less to connect all these characters and make an audience care about, say, Frankenstein, someone who they are very, very, and I keep saying Frankenstein, but Frankenstein's monster, someone who they are very, very, very familiar with.
I've read the book. I was going to correct you at some point.
Yes,
So.
of course, of course. It's like, can you scare people anymore with, Frankenstein and Dracula? It's harder.
So do you not think that like there's a world where they fit now anymore?
I think they're trying to figure out what to do with those characters. You get something like the 1999 Mummy with Brendan Fraser,
Yeah.
which is much more like Indiana Jones Adventure, and that connected.
Sure.
Um,
Isn't the Mummy like the? I mean, I've not seen the original film.
yeah.
But the Mummy films with Brendan Fraser I've seen, and I've seen enough of the trailers of the Tom Cruise one to know it's not really about the mummy, it's about the person trying to find the mummy.
Right.
Or dealing with the actions that the mummy is casting on the world.
Yeah.
Are the original ones about the mummy?
No, they're more, well, the first one is a little more focused on the mummy character, but when you get to the sequels, they are more the template for what the Brendan Fraser movies would do.
Oh, okay. But also, are all these characters in the public domain now?
Yes.
That's also a reason why we keep getting them then.
Yeah, and so it just depends on the take, right? Because they did, like, I think Dracula Untold, which was kind of an attempt to turn Dracula into sort of a underworld-like supernatural warrior, fell completely flat. No one saw it. But then they did, like, the Invisible Man remake, where they did it from the point of view of, like, a woman escaping, like, an abusive boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
The movie was fantastic and really tense. And, the director of that movie came back and said, hey, I'll try doing the Wolfman now. And that one kind of didn't connect at all. So it just depends on finding the right take for the right time.
Isn't there a Chevy Chase Invisible Man film?
There is Memoirs of an Invisible Man, yeah. On our list.
That's just spy related, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess that's another Halloween sorted.
It is, yeah. It's on the list, so we'll get there one day. So this film was written by Kurt Siodmak. I'm going to pronounce it that way because it's a tough one. It is a tough one. He was a German writer and novelist, and he was also an engineer and newspaper writer. And got his start in the German film industry at the end of the 1920s. He began as an extra in the film Metropolis for Fritz Lang.
Oh, lovely film.
Yes.
Not.
Oh, that. Oh boy! Send your tweets and emails to Scott Hardy.
No, I tell you what, it's a good film. I've seen it twice now, but the first time I saw it, I'll tell the story every time.
Yeah.
I was stuck on like wooden benches having to watch it, and it was the 3-hour cut of the film. I wanted to die.
Right. Yes.
Not conducive of a good viewing experience. You did pronounce his name right, but one thing that I found just looking at his IMDb that's actually crazy is he was born in 1902.
Yeah.
And he lived to the year 2000.
I know, right?
He almost did 2 millennia.
He did.
I think that's how millennia works.
I think so. I don't know.
Centuries?
No, it'd be 1 century. If he made it to 100, it'd be 1 century.
What's a millennia in years?
Isn't that 100 as well?
Write in, folks. mail@spyhards.com. What's cold cream and what's a millennia?
Yeah, we sound like idiots right now.
Same as it ever was.
So Kurt relocated to Britain in the mid-30s to escape the rising power of Hitler in Germany, and then moved to America in 1937 and started working in Hollywood. Kicked off his career there with the thriller Nonstop New York, which was directed by Robert Stevenson, who would go on to do a ton of the Disney live-action movies, including Mary Poppins.
Mm-hmm.
And he was primarily, though, known for horror and genre. And he wrote 1940's The Invisible Man Returns for Universal. Mm-hmm. He did Black Friday with Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi for Universal. He did the Boris Karloff film The Ape. He had a story credit on The Invisible Woman. He worked on The Wolfman. And Agent was actually his follow-up to the 1941 wartime crime thriller Pacific Blackout. But, I was not particularly familiar with the writing credits of Universal Horror. Just had never really looked into it. And I realize now, like, that Kurt here was one of the defining voices. And, you know, he would go on and do Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, Son of Dracula, House of Frankenstein, and also just write some other really influential genre stuff. Like I Walked with a Zombie. He moved into sci-fi in the 50s and did Earth versus the Flying Saucers. And he was even an occasional director working on movies like Bride of the Gorilla, The Magnet Monster, and Love Slaves of the Amazons.
My favorite.
Yeah, like this guy was someone working in, you know, B movies and studio programmers who had his, his fingerprints in some like movies that genuinely have a legacy.
How poorly do you think Love Slaves of the Amazon has aged?
Probably not great.
Yeah.
I'm going to say not great.
Yeah, I don't want to look the film up because I suspect I know what it is.
I think I did look it up, and it wasn't as shocking as you might think.
I mean, that's coming from your mind. So
That's
maybe,
true. That's true.
It could be dreadful.
I was more angry it took the title of the spec script I'm writing. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that one pretty racy?
Of course.
I mean, you can't cancel someone who doesn't have a career.
That's right. That's right. I am pushing the envelope in every direction.
Through their letterboxes, and they're pushing it away.
So the working title for this movie was The Invisible Spy. They ended up changing it to Agent. I am not sure why.
Huh. The Invisible Agent, The Invisible Spy. I think I prefer Agent.
I prefer Agent 2, and I wonder if there was a movie that came out or a couple movies around that time just that used the word spy in the title.
Oh, you could better believe there was in 1942.
Exactly. You and I have tackled enough movies with names that all blend together.
But also plenty with agent in it.
Also true, but I don't know. So the original script for the film featured the Invisible Man kicking Hitler in the butt.
Why did we get that version?
But there was a wartime ban on making Hitler, Emperor Hirohito, and Mussolini the butt of personal attacks.
What?
Yeah, there was a wartime ban on that.
Okay, well,
I don't really understand that actually. I think that's interesting that there was.
But like, the Great Dictator had him playing Hitler, didn't it?
It wasn't Hitler. They never referred to him as Hitler. It was like
I guess it was
a riff on him.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
What an odd stipulation.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't gentlemanly warfare by World War II.
Definitely not. I mean, I guess, like you do have not film related, but the first issue of Captain America comics is him literally punching out Hitler.
Punching Hitler, yeah.
Yeah.
What an odd choice.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, that's all right. We'll just get Peter Lorre to play someone from Japan instead.
How long did it take you to figure out he was from Japan?
50 minutes.
Same here. I forgot.
I completely forgot. Like, they must have said something. Like his name was Hero or something like that, I think, or something.
I guess.
But like they were talk. But it was when he was in like his little house and he committed suicide towards the end. Spoilers. I was like, oh, he's meant to be Japanese.
That's when you figured it out? Oh, I figured it out before that.
Oh, no. Well, that was the 50-minute mark, but okay. I wrote it down.
No, it's not. That's towards the end.
Yeah, 50 minutes. 50.
It's an hour and 20 minutes. That's probably, you probably commit suicide at like maybe 105 or something, 110.
Okay, we're quibbling over 15 minutes, but yes, fine.
Yeah, no, I figured out before that because someone referred to him as Japanese. I believe the Invisible Man made some comment about
you all look the same to me. Yeah,
yeah, and I'm like, Peter Lorre does not.
Nope.
Like he really does stand out there. Really distracting.
Well, to be fair, Peter Lorre was known for playing a Japanese man in a series of films that I've never seen.
Yeah. Although, did you find it also surprising that like he did not have any makeup?
Nope.
From what I could tell, no styling.
No, and he does in those films. He has
yeah.
like the pulled up eyelid thing that they like to do in those days.
Yeah, very common in those days in films.
Yeah,
and we've seen it, many times. But like, there's actually no attention to visually making him look like he's supposed to be Japanese in this movie, which I found fascinating. It was like they just looked at Peter Lorre and were like, "Yep, he passes."
And it's not even like he does an affectation.
Nope.
It just sounds like he's which sounds like he's snivelly little Peter Lorre.
Well, I was making notes at the top that I, thought he was really reminiscent of Tot, the, bespectacled Nazi in Raiders of the Lost Ark. I
Okay.
was like, oh, this almost feels like an early take on that character. And then they mentioned he was Japanese, and I went, what? Oh, I thought he was doing a German accent.
It snuck up on us, just like Pearl Harbor.
That may be one of the most effective twists we've come across.
And yet it was never even aimed to be one.
Nope, supposed to be able to be spotted right away. Who knew?
I mean, there's a reason he was the SpyHards MVP of, I think, 2024?
Yeah.
Or maybe 2023? He's so good at being a spy, he was able to fake his nationality.
Right in front of us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not enough to get him the title again for 2025, but, good effort there, Mr. Lorre, I suppose.
Yeah.
Some other notes I had. Okay, Lionel Atwell, who was a very respected actor at the time, was originally cast as Conrad Stauffer, but was replaced by Sir Cedric Hardwicke in this film. People who have watched Universal Horror and movies that time will recognize Lionel Atwell from other films. And then we haven't talked about the director, who was Edward L. Marin, who was a New Jersey-born director, started as an assistant cameraman. His first real credit was as the assistant director of 1930s Women Everywhere, which I thought would be really saucy, but it's actually just like a action-adventure set in Morocco.
It's a horror film.
Well, no, I wish.
Oh, speaking of getting cancelled, oh no.
Oh, yeah. But he took the big chair as director for 1932's Bela Lugosi murder mystery, The Death Kiss. And then he just worked in tons of B movies. And sometimes they had stars. In 1936, he did the Jimmy Stewart racing car film Speed, which was before Jimmy Stewart was a big star.
Was that the basis for Speed?
No, not a
Oh.
chance. He did the 1938 version of A Christmas Carol with Reginald Owen that I've seen and is actually very good. And he did 4 of the Massey films.
Of course. I've read the books.
I had never heard of this.
No,
so,
sold my joke. Thanks, Cam. Go on.
You're welcome. There was a series of films, 10 films total, about the character of Massey, who was sort of a ditzy showgirl who wandered into different situations. And so he directed 4 of these films.
Do they have Maisie in the title, or?
Yeah, Maisie. And
I see. Yeah.
Yeah, there's tons of them.
Huh. Was it always the same lady playing Maisie?
It was. And Southern. Yep.
Ah. Quite the looker.
Right?
She lived till 2001.
Yeah.
Wow. Nominated for an Oscar. I've never heard of these films, though. They do not have a legacy, I would say.
No, I would say not. And for Marin, this film was his follow-up to the Shirley Temple movie, Miss Annie Rooney. And he would also do some films that people may have seen, like he did Tall in the Saddle, which was a kind of lesser-known John Wayne Western. And he did a whole bunch of Westerns with Randolph Scott, and those were a little more prominent and a little more popular. But his career really ended in the very early 50s. He died quite young at the age of 52.
He didn't live to 2001.
Did not. No.
Damn. He didn't have to deal with the Y2K bug.
No. And the panic that ensued from that, yes.
Did you ever get swept up in that?
Not really. I was young enough that I kind of was like, whatever.
I remember my dad like proofing the house.
Okay. No, we didn't do that in the house. I just remember going to a New Year's Eve party, like my whole family went, and when we were counting down, everyone was kind of like, "Oh, will something happen? Will something happen?" But there wasn't like a panic. I don't think people were legit scared.
I remember we had a house party when it happened, and I think we were listening to music and then did the countdown, and we all had our like stereos on and stuff, and nothing happened, obviously.
Yeah.
I felt a bit let down.
Yeah, you wanted something to happen.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want the world to end, but like all that talk.
I know. Now it sounds so silly, but
I imagine there's probably get like Roland Emmerich to do it, like a disaster film where it actually happened.
Well, that's kind of what 2012 was, though.
Well, all the computers shut down.
Yeah, it was like in 2012 there was like
It was a calendar
the
reset, wasn't it, or
that
something like
was
that in
no, that was
2012?
well, 2012 was like a Mayan calendar
Oh
thing where it
yeah,
was like
yeah, yeah,
everything
yeah.
was going to go bad, but
Hmm.
it would have been a similar kind of movie just set during 1999.
It took a few more years, and then that finally happened.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. So the budget for this movie was $322,000, and it earned just over $1 million, making it the most successful Invisible Man sequel.
Wow.
Yeah,
Looks like audiences found the Invisible Man.
they saw it in droves.
I'm really looking for another pun.
Ah, the top three for the year. Number one was Bambi. Number two was Mrs. Miniver, and number three was Yankee Doodle Dandy. And this film was nominated for an Oscar.
Really?
Yes, Best
Oh.
Actor for John Hall.
Get out.
I will
You're.
get out. That's not true.
Oh. I almost had a heart attack. That's the biggest fright you could have given me on Halloween.
No, no, no. This was nominated for Best Special Effects.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Also nominated were, and some of these movies, the names will not pop out, and some will. You had Reap the Wild Wind, which was a John Wayne adventure on the high seas. You had The Black Swan, Desperate Journey, Flying Tigers, a John Wayne World War II Flying Tigers movie. The Jungle Book with Sabu, which is a really fun adventure film. Mrs. Miniver, which won the Best Picture that year. The Navy Comes Through. One of Our Aircraft is Missing, which of course inspired other films that had similar titles.
Oh no. I'm getting PTSD. The D stands for dinosaurs.
And the last one was The Pride of the Yankees about Lou Gehrig. That was with Gary Cooper. And there's a lot of nominees there for best effects. Like they did obviously not cut it at 5 like they do nowadays, or 3 even. And so the winner was Reap the Wild Wind.
Was it deserved?
Sure. Yeah, like it's a effective enough movie. You believe that they're on the high seas, I suppose.
You didn't say that with enough conviction for me.
It's not a movie I look back on and go, oh, those effects bowled me over. It's not like if you were to say, oh, Wizard of Oz won best effects. You'd be like, oh, yeah, I get it.
I guess on the other side of that coin, like I've never seen an Invisible Man film, so some of the special effects in this I thought for the time were pretty good.
Yeah.
But I imagine a lot of the stuff they were just gimmicks they'd already used in previous films.
Yeah, like the first one does a lot of these kinds of gimmicks, yeah.
Sure. The cold cream stuff and that sort of thing.
Yeah. This one kind of refines them, which is, it's I think worthy of the nomination, but I don't know. I mean,
the scene when he's doing the makeup, like he's like putting his face on, like that's pretty cool.
It is, yeah. There's a lot of really cool effects in this movie, actually.
Yeah.
And then lastly, in a 1971 interview, actress Ilona Massey, who appears in this film as the German / British agent that he romances, disliked the film so much she can scarcely remember what it was all about, she said.
Well, there's a trick in the title.
Yes, and she was very, very dismissive of this film.
It's not hard to figure out why.
I don't know. I looked up her career. It's not like she was like batting 1,000.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, I suppose like I'm not gonna point my judgment beams at her.
Sure. I just think like she only acted from 47, I think, till like 59 or something, or the maybe early 40s to 59, and not a ton of credits. And when you look up her IMDb page, she's best known for Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman.
Is she better in that?
I don't even. Well, she played the Baroness Elsa Frankenstein, so I don't know. I really don't remember her in the movie very well.
Well, that's indicative of this performance, but let's get into it. Let's unmask, inject ourselves with the serum. Let's go invisible.
Let's do it.
Oh, Cam, stop tickling me. Oh, wait, that's not you. Okay, let me start us off. I didn't have any grounding or foundation in this. You'd seen it before, so it's a revisit for you, so I don't know what would have necessarily changed. For me, this is fresh. I didn't have high expectations going in, because in my mind, this was a cheaply made film done at wartime to just raise morale.
Sure.
And it started off by impressing me. Like I felt like the first sort of half an hour was all pretty good stuff. Like going on the mission, the parachute, putting on the cold cream, all that stuff is pretty good.
Mm.
And then I just feel like it just decided to drop all of its energy and be not all that interesting and not live up to the concept.
Mm-hmm.
Because I felt like what this thing had going for it was a really interesting concept. What if you have an invisible spy?
Yeah.
What can an invisible spy do? Lots of stuff. And it plays with it a little bit, but it seems to devolve into just hijinks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I'm going to spill the table's contents over this German soldier. Oh, I'm going to,
Eat a chicken wing
eat a chicken wing.
or
Like,
a drumstick. Yeah.
Sure. And I felt like they had an idea and couldn't figure out what to do with it, so they just fell back on what is probably Invisible Man tropes.
Mm-hmm.
And so ultimately, I was frustrated at what could have been quite an interesting film, left me kind of bored by the end.
I never felt bored watching this one. To me, this is this is definitely I don't want to say it's at the bottom of the Universal horror kind of stuff, but it is a kind of lower middle movie
Mm-hmm.
where the concept is fun. There's effects that are fun. That's good. I'm happy. I'll sit there and be entertained for 80 minutes. And this one, in terms of its plotting, you're right. Like it's not really doing anything particularly stand out. And it
Mm-hmm.
really is just like, okay, well, what happens if you run this thoroughly generic spy situation, which we've seen in other, wartime war movies many
Mm-hmm.
times over. There's nothing in the plot of this movie that actually feels like something we haven't seen before
No.
in something like British intelligence or something like that. But by just like kind of tossing in this Invisible Man character who's weirdly loopy for someone who is not set up to be loopy at all.
Really bugs me, actually, that, he is. Because the idea is he's the grandson of the original Invisible Man.
Yeah.
And the family have said they're going to keep the recipe a secret and not let it leak out. And originally, he's approached by the Nazis to try and take the formula or the serum itself to use for their agents. And then he tells them to bugger off. And then next day, oh, it's Pearl Harbor.
That part made me laugh. That is like a shorthand they use so much in these movies. So
It's actually like a trope now. Like,
yeah, it is.
So Pearl Harbor happens. Spy feels motivated.
Exactly, and there's always a montage.
Yeah.
Of like burning ships or something like it's very exploitive actually the
Yeah.
way they do that. Can you imagine in the 2000s if every like spy movie that followed kind of this sort of trope just showed footage of 9/11?
Oh, I could definitely imagine that. I bet it has happened.
I'm sure it has, but not like this. Like this is
On this day, the universe changed.
I think if you were to do it as artlessly as these movies toss it around, those 9/11 movies that would have used that footage would have been heavily shellacked in the reviews.
And rightfully so. I mean, this is
Yeah.
not purporting to be high cinema.
No. This is like a programmer. It
Yeah.
just wants people to show up, see an Invisible Man in a World War II adventure, and call it a day.
Mhm.
And in that respect, I had fun with it. It's a movie that, like, is this something that I think breaks the mold of a World War II propaganda spy film? Not really. Not really. It's very much going by the.
It
could have. There's a lot of promise with what it could have been.
Mm-hmm.
The original, I think, is a legit masterpiece. And introduces the concept that the serum causes insanity, and that's why he's a villain in that film. Whereas, like here, they kind of don't do that, but then also have him acting loopy, which is strange.
Apparently, it makes him sleepy.
Yeah, that was odd. That's a plot device, just to like introduce some sort of tension whenever there's something dangerous about to happen. It's like, oh, I'm sleepy.
But he only has one nap.
I know.
Like, it never comes up again.
Oh, it comes up at the end, in the midpoint and in the end.
Oh, yeah, when he's on the plane. You're right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's the kind of movie that's just like kind of light as a feather, and I can sit there and just enjoy the effects and the silliness. But what I do notice is, in terms of like Universal horror, one of the big pleasures is just the visuals of the movies, like the gothic atmosphere, and some of them is really beautiful. I invested, as I said, in the Blu-ray set, and like just like the black and white cinematography on some of those older ones on your TV now looks absolutely incredible.
Mhm.
This is not the case with this one. This one looks pretty pat stuff.
Right. Well, it's I mean, I did watch like a 4K or 2K version of this. It was pretty high res, so it looked nice.
But when you compare just like the moody German expressionist influenced cinematography of like the best ones, like this is not trying to do any of that.
No, I could believe that, and I imagine it was done far cheaper.
I don't think so. I think it's probably a similar price point, but
Okay,
they were putting their money elsewhere.
sure, and I think like for me, it's you're bringing this monster, this creature, this universe into the world of spy movies. What can I do with it? And I sat there in the film going, oh, I would have done this differently, or I would have done that differently. Not as like a director, but just I just think you could have had so much fun with this,
Well,
and instead it just relies on gaffes.
you could do a really cool version of this, and it's a completely different movie, so I'm not pitching it as a corrective for how to fix this movie,
No,
but one where the enemy is invisible
sure.
as a spy, and they
Hmm.
have to somehow catch that. Like, imagine if it's told from the point of view of the people trying to catch Jason Bourne, but
Hmm.
Bourne is invisible, and he's like a villain. Like, that could be really cool.
So it's like the Predator.
Well, that's more of like an action movie though, where it's like this would be something based more on espionage
Hmm.
and like having to do like a real cat and mouse. That could be actually, I think, quite tense.
Yeah.
This movie, its problem is like when it comes to the actual spy aspect of the movie, that Frank, the lead character here, is a terrible spy.
Awful.
He's unbelievably terrible. Like, he is in a scene where they have this, Nazi higher up kind of figure
Hmm.
meeting with the female lead, and he can't stop pulling pranks on the dude, which would just give away that he's there. It
Yep.
doesn't make any sense.
And they've already highlighted that the Nazi Party know that this invisible serum exists.
Yeah.
So you would do everything in your power to obfuscate the fact that you're there. I mean, the sheer, like, I mean, we're getting into dislikes a little bit, but like, I think one of my main problems is Frank Raymond. The actor I don't think is particularly good either, but as a character, he's utterly useless.
I like when he's going to get the information because he's trying to find out about an attack that's going to happen on America, right, in New York.
Sure.
And like it just cuts to him like going into the bad guy's office and like rummaging through paper, and
Mhm.
everyone's aware he's in there, and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, and yet he still gets away with it, which is, obviously he's your protagonist if he's going to save the day.
Yeah.
But I just think like it's what was left on the table. I think that left more of an impression on me than what they did do. I think the only thing that this film has going for it, apart from the special effects, is the supporting characters. I think there's some fun in there. So
Hmm.
let's talk about what worked, and I will just start off by saying, like, I think Peter Lorre and Cedric Hardwicke are the MVPs of this film.
Yeah, I mean Peter Lorre, obviously it's kind of problematic casting, but like he's bringing so much to this performance. Like,
There's an intensity in the Invisible Man's fourth sequel.
I know, and it's all Peter Lorre. Like,
Hmm.
you have that scene early on where he breaks him and a bunch of goons break into Frank's workplace,
Yeah,
and Peter Lorre
he
just
makes paper.
yeah, he makes paper. That's right, yeah. And Peter Lorre just goes over into the corner and is just like fiddling around with like what the paper cutter,
Hmm.
and him just doing that is scary, and
Yep.
it's all him. It's not the fact that like the music is imposing or anything like that. The direction is not particularly heavy-handed. It's just the little gestures that Peter Lorre is doing, and it has like a moment where he says like, "This is a very handy machine, handy," and you're like, "Oh man!" That's why I thought so much of Tot from Raiders of the Lost Ark,
Hmm.
who has that scene where he comes in with the hanger, but no one knows it's
Yeah.
a hanger, and it looks like it's some sort of torture device or some sort of weapon or something. And the just like the conviction of him playing around with this prop, everyone's kind of like, what is he about to do? I felt that every second Peter Lorre was in that room.
Hmm. And like that's where I said in the beginning, this film had me on side. Like I was like, oh, there's some tension here, and then I understand him sort of G Willikers wanting to help America. I'm totally on board with that, but it's when you get to that scene at the dinner table when his job, and I know like a criticism of the film can't be the spy was terrible
Sure.
because and if the spy was better, the film would be better. No, because the film would be over in 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a dinner scene, and he's causing all this sort of hijinks. He's like turning lighters on the other side of the room. He's eating drumsticks and stealing food, spilling champagne, knocking the dinner table over. Where he should really be like just sitting there patiently, absorbing all the information, and then following Karl Heiser, back to his boss, Comrade Stauffer, and getting the big plan for the invasion of the United States, hopping on a plane back to England. Hunky dory. Of course, that would be a 30-minute film and not all that interesting. But I don't think the interest was having him just fuck around in Nazi Germany for an hour.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And it's also like this guy who doesn't come across as the greatest agent right off the bat. He's not
No.
a trained agent. They're just sending him
Well, they
in.
say that up front.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he's a paper maker.
That's there right in the text. Like it's the fact is he's doing it because of Pearl Harbor, but he doesn't want to give the potion to anyone else. He will only do it himself. Fine. But then he gets there and he takes one look at Maria and literally is wolf. He's like literally like wolf whistling at her.
Mm-hmm.
And
he does.
Yeah, literally. And it's like as soon as he sees her, he is like that wolf in the like Warner Brothers cartoon, like like smashing a table or smashing a chair over a table and like doing the ow. Like he can't focus. He has lost his mind, and that leads into that dinner with the Karl Heiser character, where he's just doing all this stuff to upset this, I guess, sort of quasi-romantic dinner situation.
Yeah,
and it's like, are you a spy or are you just like after this woman now?
Yeah, I mean, maybe the fact that he's walking around naked is making him do this.
Sure.
Maybe he's like a nudist. Maybe this is how he gets off.
Maybe it is. But it really feels like the love story of the movie really gets pushed into the forefront of the film in terms of everything that's driving the Frank Raymond character. And it doesn't really make sense considering he's only like, he sees her once and that's that.
Yeah. Instantly in love with her. And he thinks, like, she's his contact, right? But he doesn't know that. I mean, you find out at the end that she's like the best British agent ever.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know that.
No, he doesn't know that at all. Her loyalties are very, like, gray until the end.
Yeah. Well, okay. We're talking about dislikes. We'll come back to it. Is there something you like that you want to talk about?
The effects. The effects are why this movie is so much fun.
Yeah.
And did they impress you?
Yeah, for the time. I like when he was like changing, I thought that was kind of cool. And then like taking all the parachute equipment off. Like I don't know how they did that effect back then. Now I know how they do it, but back then not a clue. But the big bit was later in the film where because like the lighter and the drumstick, that's like just wire.
Sure.
Like I can understand that. That's not hard to pull off. But the makeup trick where he sat in front of a mirror, putting on the cold cream over his face and hands to make himself white, and then puts the sunglasses on. Like I can see the translucence of the guy there. So there's some sort of like effect where they're putting two prints on top of each other, probably.
Yeah.
But it's crazy good.
Like there's the bit too where he's like drinking the coffee or something, like that the old guy, his contact, is giving him. And like,
and the champagne
as well, and like how they're probably doing this.
I don't,
but you also think like, well, you're thinking like, how does it look this good? Like, how does this like look like the kind of effect that is that much fun to watch? What is this? 80 years later, basically.
Well, it's an in-camera effect, a lot of it too.
Yeah,
like they did it mostly practical, so it will hold up.
But even like a scene where he goes into that office and he's rummaging through drawers and all that kind of thing, you're seeing obviously like all this stuff is being pulled by wires and whatever, but just like the timing of it.
Yeah, or like the footprints when he's walking, like in the sand and the stones and stuff like that is, I mean, yes, I can tell you how it's done, but it's still impressive.
Yeah, and that was the thing about this movie was, even though in terms of plotting I would get frustrated, it's like they would just hit me with these gimmicks in all these different ways.
But that novelty did wear off pretty quick.
It didn't wear off for me too much. Even by the end, when they do the one that looks really goofy, where he picks up Maria and is like running towards the plane, and I'm like,
just carries her through. Yeah,
yeah, it's like it looks really hilarious, but that didn't matter. That made me like the movie even more.
Well, yeah, I think part of this is I expected a bit more of a serious nature to this film instead of it just being wacky. I think if I went back and watched it again and just was like, make me laugh,
Yeah.
I'd probably have a better time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. This is not the high bar for comedy, but it's just like it's such a goofy movie that's what I enjoy about it.
Yeah,
And the effects lend into that. It's like you're watching kind of just this light, goofy entertainment that just so happens to have effects that, as we said, like I hesitate to say they hold up because I think people can see the kind of the seams in some ways, but they're impressive enough that you sit there and go, how the hell did they do this in 1942?
well, there's some I genuinely can't tell you how they did it. I do not know how the cold cream thing worked. Can you tell me?
No, I don't know.
Yeah. Write to us, mail at spyhards.com. I want to know how the cold cream thing worked. If there's a YouTube video, send me a link. I want to see, because that's when you told me it was nominated for an Oscar for that.
Yeah,
Completely understand, because I do not know how they achieved that effect.
and I remember when they did The Hollow Man, which was not a very good movie, but like the thing that was really cool
You could
was
see through.
well, it's like they would have scenes where water fell on them or something,
Yes.
or blood or something, and you would just see that floating in the air. And it was like them trying to figure out an effect that would wow an audience using invisibility. And I think like the 2018 Invisible Man is one of the best Invisible Men movies. It's like close to the original, I think. But it doesn't quite have.
Is that the one with the lady from Mad Men?
Yeah, Elizabeth Moss. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that movie's, I think, incredibly well made thriller, but I wouldn't say it has an effect that knocks your socks off.
Right.
Whereas like this movie feels like it owes more to that period, especially the original, where they're like, how do we like kind of blow an audience's mind?
Well, I think we live in a world now where you can create anything with digital effects. So it's really hard to impress.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, unless it's something like an Avatar film that feels very, very immersive in terms of effects, but most CG movies are not impressive at all.
No, in some ways, I think we've actually gone back a bit.
Like, I'm trying to think of like characters who've been invisible, say even in superhero movies, and it just was like whatever. You just kind of shrugged.
We'll talk a recent thing. I quite like the light, the sort of rainbow kaleidoscopic effect they did for the Invisible Woman in Fantastic Four.
It was okay. It didn't exactly do anything that impressed me, though.
Well, it was different to what we've seen with the last three in Fantastic Four films.
Very true. Which was like pretty basic stuff.
Yeah, that was, they're not on screen anymore.
Yeah.
Or like if rain is on them, they got a slight silhouette. Whereas this was like she was there but not there, but like there's like I mean, I don't know how it was achieved, but it looked different and interesting.
And in a movie like this, it feels like they're actually trying to create basically visual gags that will make you question how they're done. Whereas I wouldn't say that was something Fantastic Four ever tried to do.
No, but I don't think people really do that anymore with effects.
Few and far between.
Yeah, I think people just know that it's done on the computer.
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of other things, I mean, you spoke about some of the other characters. Peter Lorre again is the greatest special effects. I mean, I didn't like the wackiness, but some of this physical effects were quite interesting. Like not the special effects, but like the Invisible Man interfacing with the world.
Yeah.
So like there's a hand-to-hand combat sequence at the Nazi office later on.
Very well staged.
I mean, it's all just stunt fighters basically falling over themselves, but it looked convincing.
Yeah, like you feel like there is someone else there who's like punching them in the face and and what have you.
Yeah, that was impressive. There was a couple of tumbles. I was like, this is a bit far, but
sure.
Yeah, there's one later on where Peter Lorre kills or attacks someone, and they do a full pirouette.
Oh,
so I think like Peter Lorre has one hell of a right hand.
Oh, was that when Peter Lorre did, like, I guess, karate on the Stauffer character?
Yeah, I guess it was karate, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and then, like, stabs him and then commits suicide?
Harry Carey, yeah.
No, that's seppuku.
Sabuku,
Yeah.
yeah. Which one's Harry? I don't know the difference then.
There is a difference, but send the mail in and let us know.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Agents, we don't expect you to talk. We expect you to buy a subscription to our Patreon.
Yee. That's right. Over on the SpyHards Patreon, we're covering all your favorite spy TV shows, as well as popular films from the most iconic secret agent actors of all time.
Cam, why don't you share some intel on our latest assignment?
Folks, come celebrate the close of the spooky season by catching up with our October Halloween spectacular offerings over on the Patreon. We had reviews of The Exorcist II: The Heretic and Death Becomes Her, as well as we covered the original pilot episode of The X-Files. The truth may be elusive, but extra SpyHards episodes, not so much. Check them all out, folks.
So accept your mission and help support your favorite spy movie podcast at patreon.com/spyhards.
But before we activate the fourth protocol, let's get back to the Spy Jinx.
All right, dislikes. We've already mentioned some of them. There's probably a few more to dive into. I think the fact that your two lead actors don't have a solid performance between them is not helpful.
Yeah, John Hall in particular. I mean, Claude Rains played the Invisible Man in the original, and it is a incredible performance, incredibly quotable. My sister and I still quote lines from the Invisible Man, just because that movie is just like filled with hilarious moments and just like snarky lines from Claude Rains. And so you have like one of the most like distinct, charismatic actors of his time, and then you have John Hall, and John Hall has kind of that well, actually, one of the things we joke about on my Star Trek podcast is a lot of the casting for love interests is these very generic dudes that we just call 90s guys.
Sure.
You know, brown hair, kind of like a certain kind of good-looking dude who's very non-threatening, but just very bland.
Yeah.
And, like, John Hall is 40s guy. Like, he's just guy you cast in lead of movie where you don't want to pay for a star, and he can kind of just get it across the line.
It's a shame because you think like you're taking on this mantle that obviously, I mean, I imagine now has more fame to it than it did back in the 1940s. But even so, like, I thought they would have aimed a bit higher.
Yeah, and he actually like popped up again in the Invisible Man's Revenge, playing a different character, another relative of Griffin. But yeah, it's just like John Hall. That's something that happened a lot with these Universal monster movies. Was you had like some really iconic stars in the earlier ones, you know, Karloff, Lugosi, etc. But then as the franchises kept going, it just became a lot of, you know, decent actors weren't looking to sign up for like part 3 of a series because that was not really a popular thing in that time.
Sure.
And so the casting got less and less interesting, and John Hall falls thoroughly in the less and less interesting category.
Like on one side, get that money, like good for you, I suppose. But I don't know. But on the other side, you can kind of forgive him a little bit because he's invisible for half the film. Like it's hard to give
a lot of it's a voiceover.
Yeah, it's hard to give a dynamic performance when you're not there.
Yes.
But you've also got Ilona Massey, who is billed top on IMDb, which I think is a bit weird.
And in the film, yeah.
Okay. Like, I don't think she's particularly good in this one either. She's got to sell you on, like, the love story because he's not there to do it. So she's got to kind of do that. And apparently she's, like, the best spy going. I never really got that impression from her.
Well, this is a case of we want a Marlene Dietrich type. Marlene Dietrich is not going to do Invisible Man Part 4. Like, you send her that script, she's sending it back with profanity written all over it. She ain't doing it. So it's kind of like they cast Ilona Massey and are like, can you kind of do like a Marlene Dietrich kind of thing? And that's what it feels like.
I guess in a different universe, if she got to do what she wanted with it, maybe it would have been different.
Yeah, I mean, these are not actor showcases, most of these
No.
movies. It's more
No.
based on the gimmick or the monster. And it's like no one when they finish this movie walks away from it really talking about the two lead performances.
That's part of the shame, I'd say.
Yeah, like you have Peter Lorre, who this is not Peter Lorre's best material he would get in his career,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, but he injects enough that he sticks with you. But it's almost
Yeah.
through sheer force of will, because it's not like they wrote him an interesting character.
No. It's just Peter Lorre doing his best Peter Lorre.
Yeah, and same with Cedric Hardwicke, who was just someone who was a really hardworking actor and popped up all over the place and is a veteran.
Mm.
So he knows how to take this Stauffer character who's, kind of your run-of-the-mill Nazi baddie who's, kind of the brains of the operation and gives it a little bit more than it probably should have.
I will also say, in terms of the dislike section, I'll pass it to you in a second, is the Nazis get kind of a free pass in this film.
Uh,
I mean, they're the baddies,
yeah.
sure, but they're played off as like, oh, they're all right chaps.
Well, it's more like they're bumbling and stuff. Versus,
Well, there is that too, but like even
yeah.
like
Oh, Karl Heiser?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy, like, they really give him the kind of, well, he's just a silly bugger.
He's just caught in between these very awkward places. He's trying his best.
Yeah, and then, like, it's
Yeah.
machine gunned at the end, and you're like, really? They machine gunned that guy? Wow, who knew?
Well, I don't think anyone in the cast, apart from the two leads, really survive by the end.
Did you think it was weird when Peter Lorre's character, like, stabbed the other guy and committed suicide? I thought that was such a weird way to write those two characters out.
Yeah, I didn't get it because I guess I didn't want them in the final chase. Like it was too confusing or too it'd be too easy to catch them if those characters were still alive.
And also, like, there's no real part for them to be in cars chasing after him. It would be weird.
And maybe it was to give you a little bit of hope that the other guy would get away. Heiser.
It just felt like weird though because they were obviously integral to the overall plot, but when it came to actually paying them off, the movie forgot about them and was like, uh-oh. One scene, give us something.
Need to wrap this character up. Yeah. Well, I think like the film kind of gives up on itself towards the end anyway.
The fast motion chase?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of fast motion, car chases.
Sped up car chases, cranked car chase footage is not for me.
No. And we've seen other examples of war movies made at this time that didn't have big budgets, but at least had car chases that were more effective than this.
Yeah, there's been a few that have stuck out. What about you, though? You haven't said much in the dislike section. What do you have?
Well, I had said John Hall was particularly standoutish, but I will say, like, I think it's interesting, and it is something that stands out to me, which is that, continuing what we were just talking about with the car chase, like, this is a movie that puts a lot of effort into its invisibility effects,
Mm-hmm.
not so much effort into any other effects. And so, like, the planes you see flying around are clearly on wires, like, they never look real, ever.
No.
And then that car chase is like very wonky looking as well because the sped up footage looks silly.
Yeah, I mean, it's the planes I can forgive because they're probably quite hard to shoot at that point.
Yeah, I think you could probably do a little better though.
Sure, but yeah, the car footage, I remember watching that earlier today and just thinking like, "Ee, is this the best you got? Is this the climax?"
Yeah. So I mean, in terms of a dislike though, I mean it really is. I think, as you said, like this is a concept that's unbelievably cool.
Mm-hmm.
And something I think Alan Moore did a little more with when he did The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, of using the Invisible Man as an agent, although he was a complete psychopath, and was, as I recall, dealt with in very disturbing ways in that graphic novel. But just the idea of using that character for espionage is a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
And this would be the first time they would try it, and it doesn't really commit to it in a way that's... No one's going to walk out thinking the invisible agent was cool. They might think he's funny, or, they like the romance of it, but no one's going to think like, man, he was a cool agent.
Well, I guess like I've not seen the original film, but the impression you give me is that it's kind of like a melancholy to it.
That one not as much melancholy. It's more like he's someone who loses his mind and becomes just like, like the Joker. Like he's a
Oh,
pretty evil dude, who is going around just like trolling everyone,
nice.
and they basically have to stop him.
Right. Okay. But at least there's something you can feel
Yes.
in there. This doesn't give you any emotional reaction whatsoever. You are passively watching this film.
Yeah, there's no emotional hook for this movie whatsoever.
No, and also like the actual plot is started and then doesn't move until the last 15 minutes of the film. So basically, everything that happens from when he meets up with the lady to him leaving in the airplane is one plot point that is basically an hour long.
Yeah, and there's a lot of just
Nothing really changes. He's still trying to get the plans. He gets the plans and he leaves.
it's a lot of like, I need to get the plans. I need to get the plans. What's gonna happen in New York? What's gonna happen in New York?
Mm-hmm.
And you wait for 75 minutes to get the answer to that.
Yeah. When you told me originally this was because it's weird looking at my notes and because I basically like filled up half of my A5 page by the
Mhm.
25-minute mark,
Yeah, I did the same.
and then there's just and I didn't even make it to the end uh, of my note page. There's just not that much left from the rest of the film.
A lot of it is wrapping up the plot.
Mhm.
I did like that he's got the knock list.
Oh yeah, it's in the book, isn't it?
Yeah, he gets the knock list of German and Japanese agents in America.
Yeah, yeah. Is this the original mention of the knock list? Not by name.
It's the earliest we have come across, so we can write that one down.
Wow, there you go. Invisible Agent has something to offer.
I actually, you know what, and something just I liked was the Maria doing the wolf whistle at the end. I was like, that's kind of a fun, like, just punchline at the very end of the movie. That's
I
how.
didn't even connect that until just now. Okay, yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, it's like it's super quick, and it's just like pretty good button on a movie, basically.
I did think to myself though, like, can you imagine if he was an Argo?
Oh, is it?
Like she had all these hopes and dreams, and then she sees him. She's like, "Oh, thank hell!" Like, "Oh, he's 6 foot and he's handsome. Good lord, thank you." But like, she like unwraps him or whatever. She takes the cold cream off, and it's just like, Paul Giamatti. That's someone you famously think is ugly.
I used that example when we talked about Ghosted, but yeah, it's like there's other actors of this time period that
Jason Alexander. I don't know. Okay, we want to go backwards.
Well, it's like there's so many that would just play like characters. Oh well, frankly, Peter Lorre. If
sure.
If the visibility goes away and Maria sees Peter Lorre standing there, I don't know if she's doing a wolf whistle.
Hello, Maria.
Yeah,
I'm Peter Lorre. Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I should have known from Baron Ikito. Do you not think we should have figured it out from that?
They were just calling him Baron though.
Yeah.
To start.
It's actually quite an interesting choice in many ways to have him play a Japanese man and not put any prosthetics on him.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of forward thinking, also kind of terrible.
It's just weird, is what it is. When you watch the movie now, you're like, what a weird choice that makes no sense.
I want to know, like, for those who are watching along with us, who actually go and check out this film afterwards, listen to the review, or are listening to the review after having seen the film, how late did you figure out he was Japanese, and are we stupid? Add that to your email. All right, let's go to any final notes. I've got a couple of observations. Well, we mentioned the Pearl Harbor twist earlier. That's not a dance step, don't worry. We've noticed this a few times now, and a lot of these sort of programmer films. Is this the most egregious one so far? I don't think so, and I think I can name the one that it was.
Egregious, like as in like the movie that was the most like egregious to sit through?
No, like the use of the Pearl Harbor twist.
Oh, which do you think it was?
Spy Ship.
I don't remember. That one is a real like, oh boy, that's a little bit forgotten.
So it's they kind of announced Pearl Harbor had happened, and there is, I think, an actor who's saying he's Japanese. I don't know if he is Japanese or not. It could be from somewhere else, but he's sort of like he starts laughing,
Oh,
and you see like the footage of Pearl Harbor over him, and he's like, "Me so sorry, me so sorry."
yes, yes, yes,
And
yes.
I just remember going, "Oh boy,
That's
this
right.
is this is rough."
It's coming back. Yeah, you and I were both like, okay, how do we talk around that particular moment?
Yeah, I mean, I did the impression in a normal accent. I didn't do it like accented, so I think I'm allowed to say it to point out what I was talking about.
Yeah, yeah, no, that is a very good one because that was definitely very strange, and I believe I may be wrong that actor who played that part in Spy Ship was Key Luke,
Uh huh.
who was a Chinese actor, but shows up in this movie as someone named Surgeon. I think he might be the Japanese member of the bad guys who you see in crowd scenes or like group scenes.
No way that that's the same person. Are you serious?
Key Luke is in both films, yeah. And he would be best known to many people who are younger than 100 years old as the elderly shopkeeper guy who sells Gizmo in Gremlins.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture cam. That is him as that exact character in Spy Ship. So, oh boy.
Yeah, same year as this movie.
Yeesh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, I've got a couple more, but why don't you give us your next note?
Okay, so one note I made was we see the Invisible Man sitting in a bathtub. And he says a bath and a tenderloin steak is the like high point of a man's life.
Okay.
Do you agree with that?
I mean, a good bath is quite nice.
I'm not a bath guy.
When was the last time you had one?
Oh God, it's been a long time.
Maybe, I mean, do you have a bath in your house?
Yes, I do. Yes,
Why don't you treat yourself to a bath tonight?
because I don't enjoy them.
I'll run one for you when I come see you in a few weeks.
Sure, fine.
Maybe while you're listening to this right now, folks, Cam and I are in a bath together.
There's not a chance. I am not a bath person. I don't like sitting there. I get impatient and I want to leave.
It's about soaking. It's
No,
about like
no.
just relaxing. I've never seen you relax in your life. To be fair, I've never seen you relaxed.
As my friend Mark once said, nothing to do in there but stare at your own genitals.
A very visible agent.
That's right. The other note I had was that there's a scene where Maria is given an invisible kiss. That effect was really well done too.
I don't remember that effect. What happened?
Yeah, where it shows her like sitting there, kind of like puckered up, and you see her like lips press in.
So it must have been like a wire or something then.
Something, I don't know, or they removed something, I don't know, but
Mm.
it was really, I thought it's like a very subtle effect versus some of the other ones which are much bigger, but I thought it was like actually very impressive.
I didn't even catch that. I might go back and check it out or pull a clip from it because I still think for me the putting on the cold cream was like I sat there going like my mouth open like wow.
Yeah.
How did like now it wouldn't impress me if I went and saw like the next Marvel film and they did that.
Yeah.
Whatever. But 1942, I mean that's something. My other two notes were I hadn't seen any of the originals, so I assumed that the actual Invisible Man gimmick was that the invisibility was going to start running out. And then you'd have a ticking clock situation where like I need to get out before I become fully visible.
You know, I'm questioning that now. Or if that was something they introduced a bit later, if that's in the original or if that was something that came later. I think that might have been more of a later down the road invention.
Because that gives you a ticking clock tension thing, which this film severely lacks.
Yeah.
And so I was surprised it didn't go that way. Like he took the serum and there was no repercussions whatsoever.
Yeah, I think to the best of my memory, and it's been probably 10 years or so since I watched the original, but I don't think that was a factor.
Fair enough. I mean, again, another waste of a step, I suppose. It could have done something with that.
Well, you know what? Like, this is the perfect movie to remake.
Oh, yeah, you can have a lot of fun with this.
Not the kind of propaganda aspects of it, but to literally do like a World War II set. You could do it in World War I if you wanted. Set adventure where it's a spy.
High concept, but make it like tense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just, you could even call it the same thing. This could be really good and really fun.
Yeah. Like you make that the only wacky thing in the world, though. I wouldn't have it where like there are other sort of weird serums and things like that. Like, it is an anomaly.
Yeah, and also like you remove some of the wacky characters from this, like do something a little more. It can be fun,
And you have to have a very clever villain, I think, that has to figure it out.
yeah, and like make it fun, like do something more like Indiana Jones than like the kind of the silliness here.
Or make it like a more spy-y, but Harrison Ford, like Hanover Street, where they have to break into Nazi Germany to steal some stuff.
Yeah,
Undercover.
like embrace the heist elements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would work. My only other note was going back to that fight sequence in I think it's the Gestapo headquarters. It just took me back to the scene in Liar Liar where Jim Carrey is beating himself up
Oh yeah.
in the toilets. And I just was picturing one of those stuntmen just turning around going, "I'm kicking my ass. You mind?"
Or Edward Norton in Fight Club also.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does he actually punch himself at any point, or
He does, yeah.
Okay. I that's one of those films. Everyone talks about Fight Club when they shouldn't really. It's like the first rule. But it was one of those films I just didn't really ever connect with. And I know a lot of like young boys seem to revolve their opinion around the twist at the end of that film. But I don't know. I was like, okay, it looked interesting, I guess. It never really worked for me.
Oh, I really liked that movie when I was younger. I haven't seen it in a number of years now. I thought about buying the 4K that came out a while back and revisiting it, so might do that.
Well, me and you could just start a Fight Club if you want.
That too. The saddest Fight Club around.
It's just me and you beating each other up, basically.
Or trying to, but failing miserably.
Yeah, neither of us can throw a punch.
Yeah, just like swinging wildly over each other's heads.
It's two Benjis fighting each other.
Yeah, with the Benny Hill music playing.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, we're here. We're at our destination. It's Halloween. We've had our fill of this film. We need to go fill up on some candy, but before we can do that, it's time for...
Knotlist.
Knotlist.
Knotlist. The Knotlist.
Knotlist. Knotlist. You need to pick a side.
That's right. It's the Knock List, our list of the best spy films of all time. The need to see official classics. Cam's favorite acronym. Is Invisible Agent making it? Is it our first Halloween film making the Knock List?
No, unfortunately. This one, it's like you said, it's doesn't live up to the promise that it could have had, and it's ultimately just kind of a pulpy programmer. But I had fun with it, and it's the kind of one that, like, were you to gather some friends around for late night Halloween marathon at your house, this one, you could do worse. It's 80 minutes. It's pretty fast and breezy, and it's very silly and fun.
And there's plenty of moments where you could stop and like just let the film play and chat to your friends, and you wouldn't really miss anything.
But then it has like some dark moments that fit Halloween as well. Like the moment where the old man, they've broken all his fingers and they're asking him to like sign his release. You're like, that is grim.
I can't. You've broken my fingers.
You're like, oh, that's pretty grim. That's perfect for the season.
What? This film has this thing about hands.
Yeah, it does.
Is that the two? Is there any more of those two?
I don't think so. It's just those two.
Okay. Well, I'm in the same boat. I am impressed with the concept, not impressed with the delivery. I think that we're both right that this is prime for a remake, and I think there is a good idea here somewhere. But I think what this film devolves into is a low-budget filmmaker making a okay film that he's not that invested in, and I don't think anyone's particularly invested in this, even the writers, I would imagine, and they're just putting it out because they've been asked to put out a sequel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is just part of the conveyor belt, right? And you have more Universal horror coming out this year, next year.
It's a real Thor Dark World. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Dark Elves could have been fun, right?
Could have been. Malekith, cool visual.
Yeah. Do you remember anything else about that film? I don't.
I remember it actually pretty well. That one's not a blur to me.
I think I've seen it once.
Oh, okay.
But speaking of films I'll probably only ever see once, Invisible Agent. That's 2 no's. As such, it's not making the Knock List. The dossier on the film is complete and filed as classified. And that was your Halloween, folks. Was it happy? Or was it haunted? Will you be able to go to sleep tonight thinking that Cam or I might be in your room right now, invisible and completely naked?
Is that more disturbing than possession?
Yeah, what's worse? I can't remember the name of that actress now.
Oh, Isabella Johnny? Was that it?
That's it, Isabella Gianni going nuts in that subway, or Cam and I hanging dong invisibly in your room right now.
And doing wolf whistles.
Yeah, haunting you.
Yeah.
Will be your alarm clock, basically.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, you let us know on that very long email you're all writing us, apparently. They're going to write to us to say stop mentioning the emails.
It'd be a multi-part email.
Yeah, let us know. Do you think it deserves to be on the knock list? What are some Halloween spy movies that we haven't done yet that you guys know of? Maybe we've missed one. We'll add to our list. But we'll be back, next year for another Halloween film. But Cam, what are we doing next week on the show?
So next week, Scott, we are going to steal the world.
From who?
Well, Scott, we are going to get some help in achieving this magnificent aim. We are going to reunite with the men from U.N.C.L.E. for their final movie? Question mark? 2-part TV stitched together episode thing. We're going to look at the final one, How to Steal the World, which is, of course, the finale for the series, The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yes, I know some of you are as happy as John Hall in a bath right now that this is the final U.N.C.L.E. film that we're tackling. We're happy to see them off. Hopefully it's in style.
I want to learn if I'm going to watch a movie called How to Steal the World. How to Steal the World.
Oh, you plan to do it, do you?
I do.
Okay. Who are you stealing it from?
Well, they're going to be quite surprised when they find out what I've been up to.
Well, you're already invisible, so you've got the skills.
That's right.
Yeah. But the world won't know what's coming because they won't be able to see you.
That's right.
Yeah, great. Well, join us next week as we bid adieu to our favorite men from U.N.C.L.E. and close Channel D for now by taking a look at 1968's How to Steal the World, the 8th and final for the 60s Man from U.N.C.L.E. film. If you like what you heard in this episode and you want to, spread some love, it is Halloween. It's the season of giving, right?
Yeah, right. That's what it's famous for.
Yeah. Well, trick or treat. Hey, there you go. We don't want no tricks. We want treats. You give us a treat by joining our Patreon, patreon.com/SpyHards. We give you a treat by giving you over 100 bonus episodes. And all of these episodes that's on our main feed completely ad-free. What a treat.
Damn right. Yeah. And you don't even have to dress up in a costume to get it.
Yeah, you could do it invisible. You could do it naked. We'd love to have you over on the Patreon. Loads of bonus episodes and some great options to join us on there. Join us online this week as we're talking about The Invisible Agent and some of our other favorite Halloween and scary movies over on our social media at SpyHards. You can find us SpyHards, wherever one gets one's social media. But until next time, folks, remember, if you're ever having to track someone down, they can't get far without their undies.